Oh, hello there, and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. I'm Frank Foster, your host, and our mission here is, well, to explain every military award from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and even the Merchant Marine if you want us to. So, let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. We're glad to have you here today. I'm your host, Frank Foster, and we have a terrific program on the United States Army First Cavalry Division Air Mobile. It went to Vietnam early and it stayed late, especially the 3rd Brigade. Today we want to look at a division that when it served in Vietnam, starting in the 65 all the way to 1972, earned over 25 Medal of Honors, over 120 Distinguished Service Crosses, 2,700 Silver Stars, 2,900 Distinguished Flying Crosses, and over 8,500 Bronze Stars. And I won't even get to the air medals, but we're going to take a look at the awards at a infantryman in one of the 9 air mobile infantry battalion, or one of the 6 artillery battalions, or the 11th Aviation Brigade. We'll take a look at everybody. And one of the things you'll see as we go along the way is some very interesting patches of the 1st Division, 1st Cav Division, excuse me. And you'll see they had a sense of humor. We're also going to take a look at display cases of an infantryman, say a young captain. We'll take a look at a 1st sergeant, and several other members of the division to give you an idea of the awards and decorations presented to the members of the 1st team. And we'll also take a look at a couple of Vietnamese medals because I want to show you the difference between them. And for the first time, we'll take a look at some of the commemorative medals, that are available for Vietnam veterans. So we'll start by taking a look at an infantryman of the 1st Cav Air Mobile. You would see his combat infantry badge, and you would see his Good Conduct Medal, his National Defense Service Medal. Whoops, I don't want to break this case. His Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnamese Campaign Medal, and in this particular case, his award of the Army Commendation Medal with V for Valor, and his Air Medal. And how does an infantryman get an air medal? If he does enough combat air assault by a helicopter. And believe you me, the 1st Cav Air Mobile had more helicopters than anybody else in the world. It was the most mobile division the world has ever seen and deployed a whole new tactical advantage. So let's go take a look. I think you'll enjoy it. And I'll show you a couple of other neat things along the way. The 1st Cav was the first full division of the U.S. Army to arrive in Vietnam in October and November of 1965, and it fought the enemy to a standstill in the bitter battle of the Irang Valley in Pleiku province. It was awarded a Presidential Unit Citation for that action. The 1st Cav was the only division to fight in all 4 core tactical zones. It was in Pleiku, it was in Hue, it was in Quang Tri City, it was in the relief of Khe Sanh, it was in the A Shau Valley, the invasion of Cambodia. Sky Troopers were credited with over 2,058 overseas days for service in Vietnam. A special favor, please. If you enjoy these shows, please give us a like and even better, subscribe. It'll keep us on the air. Okay, thank you. But you can't say they lost their sense of humor when you look at these unique individual unit patches for the 1st Cav Division. Just a quick review, almost every enlisted man in the 1st Cav Division could expect to have the Good Conduct Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, the United States Vietnam Service Medal, and the South Vietnamese Campaign Medal. So a set of ribbon bars might look like this, well, especially if it was a reservist called up to active duty, and you want to take note that there's certain attachments and devices that would go on the ribbons to indicate whether it was for valor or the number of air medals. In particular, the placement of the campaign stars on the Vietnam Service Medal is shown here, and every medal would have at least one campaign star. Here's a very nice personalized display case of an armor captain who served in the First Cav Division. You'll notice his unique patch at the top, his rank, and his armor branch insignia at the bottom. And that's the patch that I was talking about. And then over on your left, you can see his Bronze Star with a V device for valor. And then over on the right, a Purple Heart that he was awarded. And it has a display name tag underneath it to make it easy. His skill badges, his Joint Commendation Medal. I think he served in the Pentagon for a tour after Vietnam. His Commendation Medal with identification badge. Same thing for his Vietnam Service Medal, his Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry, and his Vietnamese Campaign Medal. His unique challenge coin for the First Cav, his Presidential Unit Citation, his Meritorious Unit Citation, his Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry Unit Citation, and his Marksmanship Badge for Expert. After 12 months of continuous combat, an air mobile infantryman could expect the opportunity to be awarded the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, the Air Medal, the Commendation Medal, as shown here. This former infantry sergeant of the 2nd Battalion, 7th Cavalry, put together a very handsome display with his CIB, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Air Medal, along with his sergeant's rank and his shooting or marksmanship badges. This young sergeant's also done a very nice job with his awards, to include several Vietnamese awards and 3 very interesting commemorative medals. I'll give you an example of some of those commemorative medals. Example, the prestigious Presidential Unit Citation, which is the unit equivalent of a Distinguished Service Cross, has a very handsome commemorative medal with a bust of George Washington surrounded by 13 stars. The medal to the right of it is a commemorative medal for the Meritorious Unit Citation. And one that I find really, really interesting is the one on your right, which is the Tet Commemorative Medal for all of those members of the First Cav Division that were there at Tet. I'd like to take a moment here and just show that the commemorative medals that we're talking about, in this particular case, the one for the Meritorious Unit Citation, are the same size with the same ribbon size as the regular medals. And for example, if you were not an infantryman, but you saw a lot of combat as an armor guy, then you might want the Combat Action Medal to go into your display case. And here's a little something for all you redlegs in the 1st Cav Division Artillery. Here's the 2nd of the 17th Crest, or unit insignia, the 2nd of the 20th, the 1st of the 21st, and the 1st of the 30th. I just thought you would enjoy seeing those insignia again. Here's a nice display of an Air Cav veteran who served in the Recon platoon. You can see his Bronze Star and multiple awards of the Air Medal, as well as several Vietnamese medals, to include the Vietnamese Honor Medal 2nd Class and 2 commemorative medals that represent his Presidential Unit Citation and Meritorious Unit Citation. The display looks very nice on his wall at home also. This veteran, who was initially assigned to the 15th Transportation Battalion, was attached to the 1st of the 7th Scav and served proudly with them. He also stayed in the reserve for 10 years, which you can tell by his Armed Forces Service Medal. Take a second here and show you something about the Vietnamese Campaign Medal. What I'd like to show you here is the difference between different manufacturers of the Vietnamese Campaign Medal. This, for example, as you can see where it's sort of coming apart, is a Vietnamese manufactured one. And in that case, though, I wouldn't replace it. I would always use an original if I have it. This is a more modern variation, a U.S. manufacturer. Very, very nicely done. A bigger center section. You can see the enameling is really first class. If you're going to replace one, this is a beautiful one to do it with. And you also have a choice of a new one in the United States, and you can see that it is very much like the original medal, but much higher quality and in good shape. We all know in the Army, when you want to get something done, you go to the first sergeant. Here's a great display of a first sergeant who also served in the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, and they were attached 3 different times to the First Cav. But you can see he's been awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, the Meritorious Service Medal, and multiple awards of the Air Medal, as well as the Commendation Medal, an Achievement Medal, a Good Conduct Medal, and the other awards of the period, and his First Sergeant Stripes. A pretty impressive display. It's a very nice display of a First Cav Aviator. He wants you to know that he served in Vietnam, as if you couldn't figure it out from his display case. But he has some nice awards in here to include his Presidential Unit Citation. And he's taken the opportunity to use commemorative medals to display the Presidential Unit Citation, the Meritorious Unit Citation, and the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross Unit Citation. Those are the 3 medals on the bottom right. You can see how his display case is the focal point in his personal library and something that he enjoys seeing every day to remember his buddies over there. And here's another look at some of the commemorative medals available for Vietnam: Army Service, Combat Service Commemorative, the TET Commemorative, and the Airborne and Air Assault Commemorative Medal. This warrant officer pilot has a Distinguished Flying Cross as well as a Purple Heart and multiple awards of the Air Medal. But what is really unique is he has 2 awards of the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry, one with a Silver Star to indicate division level award, and one with a Bronze Star to indicate regimental level award. And just as a reminder, the division was the First Cav Division Air Mobile. It was known as the First Team, and the soldiers were called Sky Troopers. This young sergeant put together a very nice case, utilizing his personal decorations, his service medals, his Vietnamese awards, and 3 commemorative medals which represent his Presidential Unit Citation, Meritorious Unit Citation, and Vietnamese Gallantry Cross Unit Citation. I like the dog tag too. One of the nicest things I've seen First Cav veterans do is pass on just a single decoration to their son or daughter as a really lasting memento. One of the most incredible units in the First Cav Division were the Medevacs, whose motto, "So that others may live," brings back a lot of memories to members of the division. So if you happen to see one of those veterans and you can spot them by their patches, give them a big highball salute. An interesting little note, the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol of the Air Cav Division eventually became H Company Airborne Rangers of the 75th Ranger Regiment. And I would personally urge every former member of the 1st Cav Division Air Mobile to have a set of miniature medals made to wear at the appropriate occasion. You've earned them, you deserve them, you should wear them. Thanks for joining us today on Veterans Medals Workshop. I hope you enjoyed our show on the 1st Cavalry Division Air Mobile and the awards and decorations that they won during their tour in Vietnam. It was a long one. They got there in 65 and stayed to 72. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like. Even better, subscribe. See you next time on Veterans Medals Workshop. Oh, and if you want more information on Vietnam, we have several other videos out there on the basic load. All right, see you later. If you want to know more about United States Army medals, badges, and insignia from the Revolution to today, we've been publishing these books for over 30 years. And this is our latest edition. It's available for you on Amazon. It could be in your house in 2 or 3 days.